Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing Yamaha's brand new release, integrated amplifier, their SA20. This 80 watt per channel integrated amplifier has an amazing sound. It's a lovely and affordable price point, great features including digital inputs. It's a rock solid amp, it's beautiful, and to have such a wonderful array of features, quality and sound for such a low price is superb. So let's have a look. Firstly, Arcam's packaging, always pretty muted. Branding and model information. Serial number on just one end, and a software version. This will actually connect to a LAN connection and allow for some controls, a network socket. You'll see that. So you can perform software updates and other things like that. Maybe not over the internet, but you certainly can via USB. Anyway, let's have a look. So simple enough, Nick gets this box open pretty easily. And we start to see the product. Now, off to one side we've got the unit's remote control in a simple little bag. This remote's quite a nice weighty remote. Excellent to see a simple, effective remote used without too much fuss or clutter. It's got a printed user manual, and this one is for both the smaller SA10 and this unit, the SA20. It's got a couple of AAA batteries in there and a full-featured manual, and it's very, very easy to read. In fact, Arcam is renowned for having very simple manuals. Rather than sort of getting bogged down with gobbledygook or tech speak, they explain the useful features quickly and allow you to get up and running very, very easily. Now, the amplifier is relatively heavy, so it's actually protected with some closed-cell foam. And in the bottom of its box is a New Zealand IEC power cord. Okay. So there's a plastic bag, and that plastic bag is held closed with a couple of pieces of simple enough cellotape, allowing this oversized bag to be removed easily. Again, a very weighty amplifier, surprisingly heavy for its price. Now there's a protective piece of paper on the top, probably just to ensure that the unit doesn't get scratched. But obviously, once you've opened it, get rid of it. Okay, so let's have a look at this little, beautiful amplifier for the first time. Now, first of all, this is a slight departure over Arcam's very traditional and relatively muted design. They've added a little bit of elegance, perhaps, to it. Certainly, at a glance, you can see that the volume, power, and input selection is now very easy to identify, and the buttons are easy to use and simple enough to see. There is a very large dot matrix display, and that display is protected with one of those sort of scratch resistant little things you can rip off yourself. The volume control in this model is now a rotary encoder. Of course, because of its display, you can see very accurately where it is as far as its volume. Beneath the volume control is a simple enough engraved label of its model, which in this instance is the SA20. Beside it is a headphone output. Obviously, immediately plug that in, mutes the output stage, and allows the volume control to control the headphones. There's an auxiliary input. This is a 3.5mm input. You've got a mute button, the ability to select auxiliary, phono, or any number of the other traditional analog inputs. And using the rotary encoder in the remote, you can actually set this up so that any one of those can be a certain configurable input from the both digital and analog inputs at the rear, which we're going to see in a moment. Rocking this forward, have a look at its ventilation. So here, oddly enough, it's towards the front. Now, I would suggest it's from a circuit topography perspective that the heat sinks and amplification sits about here to ensure that it can cool itself passively without the necessity of having a fan. Now the unit is relatively shallow, and for its wattage is quite unique. It's very small and very easy to sit in a small shelf or something like that. And looking at the rear, this is where the magic kind of happens. Firstly, some really good quality binding posts. These accept both bananas, spades and bare wire. They're very well built, got a nice look and feel to it, and that's really good to see. The first that we see as we track along the back of it is the fact that this also has a pre-out. You can slave this off to a much larger amplifier if you wish, or take some of the sources and perhaps take them out for another purpose. It also allows for a subwoofer or something like that to be connected if it allows a stereo input. Along from there is a dedicated phono stage. Now, Arcam's previous models were renowned for having an excellent phono stage, and this one is better again. Lower noise, so all of those things that you would expect as the models evolve. It's got 3 selectable analog inputs. Now, although these are labelled, you can change the labelling on the front with the setup menu. There are 3 digital inputs along from that, and both are labelled but again can be allocated to do anything. There's 2 coax and 1 optical. Now the rear USB I believe is a selectable input. If you're using a USB though, it's not going to be able to index the very, very large portable hard drives. This is going to need just to use a little pen drive. It will also allow for a 5 volt 1 amp for the purposes of charging or powering external devices like a USB, sorry not a USB, a Bluetooth adapter or something like that. The next is RS232. Now this is for the purpose of control and monitoring the amplifier, and then the same over here with the LAN connection. The network socket is not for streaming, it doesn't have a media player on board, but you can use it to control it via Arcam's app or from other IP based control solutions like RTI, Crestron and Elan-G. Further across is a voltage selector. So obviously some multi-voltage taps available off the power transformer, enabling us to select the voltage between New Zealand and other countries. And finally, the big IEC socket. So, here we go. This beautiful piece of kit from Arcam, the SA20, the brand new model, unboxed here at the listening post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.